are talking about the Apostles' Creed. We're talking about the Apostles' Creed from now until Advent, right? That time when we prepare for Christmas. And the Apostles' Creed, like we talked about last time, is what we believe as apostles. We are the holy apostles. We are people who are sent by God to love our neighbors and our friends. And the Apostles' Creed represents the things that we believe. And the very first part of the Apostles' Creed, if you have your book, and adults, you're just going to have to, actually you can look in your service leaflet if you want to. If you look at this page of your coloring book, can everybody look at that just for a second? The first page, it says, the first line of the Apostles' Creed. It says, I believe in God, the Father Almighty. That's the first page? That's the last page. Oh, you're right. No. In any event, you know what I mean. The next page says, Maker of heaven and earth. So that's what we're talking about this morning. I believe in God the Father, Maker of heaven and earth. What is a maker? What do we mean by maker? Any ideas? So the clue is in that very first verse that we read together, which is the very first verse in the Bible, the very beginning. In the very beginning of the Bible, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So we begin at the beginning. We begin with God who existed before anything. But guess what? God is love. We've talked about that before. We say it every week. God is love, and that love overflowed from God. God wanted us to love. God wanted the trees and the rocks and the rivers and the foxes and the hedgehogs. God wanted all of creation in order to love it, in order to have a relationship with it. And so God created everything. Okay? That is the first thing that we believe. Now that story in Genesis, we're not going to talk about it now, but you should look at that story. The first chapter of Genesis talks about how God created the light, how God created the water and separated from the dry land. And everything that God did, God spoke it into existence. God said, let there be light, and there was light. And then God saw that light and saw that it was good. And God created all human beings. And God said that they were good. And so we are created by God. We're created in the image of God. And God created us for goodness. God created us for love. Okay, now here's the thing. As you are drawing and coloring on this page right now, I want you to think about something. Do you remember that verse that we said at the very beginning all together? In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Do you know about memorizing stuff? Anybody? You know about memorizing stuff? It's when you say it over and over in your head, right? Until you don't have to look at it anymore. And it becomes a part of something that you remember all the time. So, here's the deal. If you memorize that verse, Genesis 1:1, and you come back next week, and without looking at any paper, you tell me that verse, you will get to pick a prize from my special stash of prizes. Okay? Now that doesn't count for you adults. I mean, maybe like Carlene will give her just you're gonna have to memorize a lot more for Bible if you want adult prizes. But okay, so next week, Genesis 1:1. If you memorize it, if you come up to me, if you say it without looking at the paper or a Bible or anything, then you get to choose a prize. Genesis 1:1. It's in the service leaflet. Now you pay attention.